Hi everyone, today we are going to discuss about this pattern. Okay, to print this pattern using the code, using the Java code, how to print this pattern, we will discuss. Okay, so as of now, we have seen how to print like individual patterns. Like up to this, how to print we already discussed, and like these patterns how to print individually we have already discussed, right? So today we have to print these two different patterns in like a one pattern. See, if you see here, you can observe two patterns, like this is one pattern and this is another pattern. So two patterns in single code, in single class, right? So we'll discuss how the code will be working. Okay, so first of all, right, it's a package statement, and it's an import statement. Java scanner, like this import line, like it imports the scanner class from the Java tutorial package. We use scanner to take input from the user, like how many rows they want in the pattern. See, like this, how many rows they want to see this pattern. So like this, to enter this input from the keyboard, we have used sc.nextInt, right? So this is the scanner class object. So the purpose of scanner class is to take the input from the user, like how many rows they want in the pattern. Okay, and next this is the class declaration. Here we are declaring a public class called pattern9, whatever may be the class name you can take. In Java, every program must be inside a class, right? So every program in Java must be inside a class declaration. Then right, this is a main method, public static void main. So the starting point of every Java program, when we run the program, when we run the program, Java starts executing from the main method. So every Java program will start execution from the main method. That's why we have to write this main method. And next, so this is a scanner class. Whatever the input we are entering from the keyboard, it will take that input and it's going to store in the rows variable by using nextInt method of scanner class. So system.in means we are reading the input from the keyboard. Here system.in means we are reading the input from the keyboard. We will use this scanner object to read the number of rows from the user, and after that system.out.println how many rows you want to enter the pattern. It will ask in the console. This line prints a message to the user asking how many rows you want to print in this pattern. Like it will ask in the console, right? You can watch here like this. To print in the console, we are using system.out.println statement here. So now we read an integer from the user and stores it in the variable rows. Okay, so what will do this nextInt method, we read an integer from the user and we are storing in the variable row. So this rows value will control how tall our pattern is, like how big our pattern should be decided by this rows variable. Now we read an like this. So this rows variable will control how big how big our pattern should be. And after that, here is your pattern to print output. Before printing the output, it will show this message. Here is your pattern. So this line just it's prints a friendly message before we start printing the pattern. So here discussed, right, in this pattern we are able to see two different patterns, right? It's this we can divide this full pattern into the two patterns, like upper half of the pattern and it's a below half of the pattern. Okay. So this, if you observe this upper half of the pattern, so for this we have already used two for loops, right? So for these two, for this upper half of the pattern, two for loops, and for the below pattern, two another for loops. So we'll write totally 4 for loops. Okay, so we'll discuss now upper half of the pattern. So for see how it is. See, if you observe upper half of the pattern, this pattern, see each row starting from the number 1 and ending with the and ending with the numbers which are in the increasing order, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Means all rows are ending in the increasing order of the numbers, like 2 1 2 3 4 5. If you observe the last element of each row, they are in the increasing order. Each row is ending if you observe the ending number of the each row, these all the rows are ending in the increasing order, right? The numbers which are ending in the each row are in the increasing order, right? So that's why we have to use I plus plus. Okay, and in each row, if you observe 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, all the elements in each row are in the increasing order, right? That's why we have to write here j plus plus. And so each row is starting with the number 1, so we are starting with the equal to 1, and the maximum is like I less than, means I value should be less than or equal to maximum row number, right? So it will be, it will get, it should repeat up to maximum number of the entered value, right? So I less than or equal to rows, and each row, if you observe, each row are in the increasing order. That's why we are using I plus plus. And if you observe how the elements are in the each row, the elements in the each row are in the increasing order. They are printing in the increasing order, right? That's why another for loop is to print the elements in the each row. For int j equal to 1, j less than or equal to I value. So how the so it is ending with the 7, right? So it will repeat till I value, I am the maximum value of I is rows. So like that, these are in the increasing order. That's why we are returning here j plus plus. So in this way we are going to print the upper half of the pattern, like in the same way lower half of the pattern, right? Like in the same way, if you observe lower half of the pattern, this is the lower half of the pattern. If you observe 6 5 4 3 2 1, these are in the decreasing order. Each row is ending with the decreasing order, right? That's why we have to use I minus minus. And if you observe the elements in the each row, they are in the increasing order, 1 2 3 4 5 6 like that. So that's why we are using j plus plus. So the like see in the how in the below lower half of the pattern, in lower half of the pattern, the maximum value of I is rows minus 1 means 7 minus 1, right? That is the maximum value of I in the lower half of the pattern. That's why we are using rows minus 1 maximum value, and I greater than or equal to 1, I minus minus. So the rows value is decreasing, right? 6 5 4 3 2 1. That's why we are using I minus minus. And how the elements in the each row of the lower pattern, these are in the increasing order, right? So starting from 1 to the maximum value of I, right? That's why j less than or equal to I, j plus plus we are writing. This is how lower half of the pattern will work. And if you write these two loops together, it's going to print the entire pattern as output like this. So this is how this pattern will work. So overall, what's happening is in the outer loop, like in the upper half of the pattern, in the outer loop, what's happening, we are starting from the 1, we run the loop as long as I is less than or equal to the number of rows, and each value of I represents a row number, right? So when I equal to 1, we print the first row, and when I equal to 2, we print the second row, like that. So inside the inner loop, we are starting from the j equal to 1, and this inner loop will rotate until j is less than or equal to I. That means for row 1, I equal to 1, right? J goes from I to 1 to 1, and for row equal to 2, j goes from 1 to 2, and for row equal to 3, j goes from 1 to 3. It will print 1 2 3 like this. So for I equal to 1, j will print 1. For I equal to 2, j will print 1 and 2. For I equal to 3, j will print 1 2 3, up to for I equal to 7, j will print 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, like that. So we print the value of j followed by a space, and we do not move to the next line yet. That's why all numbers in the same row appear in the same line. After the inner loop finishes a row, we have next line statement, right? System.out.println statement. So this prints a new line, so the next row starts on a new line. So the entire block prints the increasing part of the, so up to this we can see it will print the increasing pattern of the pattern. And lower half of the pattern, if you observe the code, how the loop will work is I will start from the rows minus 1 instead of rows, okay, because the row maximum value is 7, right? But lower half of the pattern maximum value is 6. That's why we are using rows minus 1, because the middle row with the 7 numbers is already printed on the upper half, and we don't want to repeat it. We run the loop as long as I is greater than or equal to 1, and we do I minus minus, so I decreases by 1 each time. So I will go like row minus 1, row minus 2, like that, okay, up to 1 maximum 1 value. It will go to up to 1 value. So if you observe j element, like j starts from 1, and until j, it will repeat until j less than or equal to I. So when I equal to 6, it will print 1 2 3 4 5 6, okay, and I equal to 5, when I equal to 5, it will print 1 2 3 4 5, like this, and so on. So after that system.out.println and statement, and we will move to the next line. So this block prints the decreasing part of the pattern. So closing c dot close, right, closing the resources. So this line closes the scanner object. It's a good practice to close the resources like a scanner when we are doing like when we are using them. Okay, so why? Because to avoid any memory leaks and keep the things clean, this line will be useful. So overall, like what we have done is, overall we took the number of rows from the user using the scanner. We used one nested loop to print the upper half of the pattern with the increasing rows, and we used another nested loop to print the lower half of the decreasing rows. The key idea is like outer loop is to control the number of rows, and inner loop is to control how many numbers are printed in each row. Okay, outer loop is to control the number of rows, and inner loop is to print the numbers in the each row. Okay, so like this pattern code will work. Okay, and now we will see how to debug this. We'll put debug points first. Nice. No, debug as 2025. So control came into this line. So you want to see how the values are changing, right? So here this is the window show you expressions or breakpoints or expressions or variables. Okay, we'll see variables. Okay, so for int I equal to 1, j equal to 1 and j less than or equal to means 1 less than or equal to 1 true, right? So it will print one element here, and after that j value will become 2, right? 2 less than or equal to 1, this condition fails. That's why it came out from the this inner loop, and it will go into the next line. So in the next line, if you see here, now the I value is 2 and j value is 1. So it will print 2 elements for I equal to 2, and for I equal to 3 it will print 3 elements. J is changing from 1 to 3. See, so it's going to print it. For I equal to 4, j is going to print 4 elements, right? Here if you observe, this j value is changing up to 4. 1 2 3 4, right? After that 4 plus means 5 less than or equal to 4, right? That's why it will come out from this inner loop, and it will go to the next line. So like this it will print up to 5, j is equal to 5. After that j will become 6, right? 6 less than or equal to 5, this is false, right? That's why it will come out from this loop, and it will enter into the outer loop. So now we'll see. So now it's coming into the lower half of the pattern, because so lastly what is the rows value? So row is equal to 5, right? So 5 plus ante 6, I mean 6, right? 6 less than or equal to 5, right? This condition will fail. That's why it will come out from the outer loop, and it's going to the another line, next line. So next line is to print the lower half of the pattern. So like this. So lower half of the pattern, row value is starting from Okay, so see, row is 5, row's number is 5, but I value is starting from 5 minus 1, 4. See, I is 4, so G is going to print up to 4 values like this. And after that, say for I equal to 2, for I equal to 2, J equal to 1, and 1 less than or equal to 2, right? This is true, that's why it's going to print 1 value. And after that, J equal to 2, 2 less than or equal to 2 less than or equal to 2, right? So we'll see now what is the I value. I value is 2 now, and J value is 1, right? So 1 less than or equal to 2, this is true, right? Okay, so that's why it's going to print 2, right? After printing 2, now we'll go to the next line. It will come to the next line because when I equal to 2, after printing J2 value, J will become 3, right? So 3 less than or equal to 2, this condition is false, right? That's why it's going to the next line. And now the I value is 1 and J value is 1. So 1 less than or equal to 1, this condition is true, that's why it's going to print 1 element in the next line. And after that, 1 plus 2, right? J equal to 2, 2 less than or equal to 1, this condition is false, that's why it's going to come to the next line. And after that, I equal to 1, right? 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1, 0, right? 0 greater than or equal to 1, this condition false, right? That's why it's going to close, sc dot close. It will come to the sc dot close and it will stop the loops. So finally we are going to get this output for the given input 5. Okay, this is the upper half of the pattern and this is the lower half of the pattern. This is how this pattern code will work. If you have any doubts, comment below please. Thank you.